When family loyalty collides with championship dreams on the racetrack, the results can be explosive. And that's exactly what NASCAR fans witnessed at New Hampshire Motor Speedway this past Sunday. Denny Hamlin found himself in the eye of a storm after making contact with his own Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, Ty Gibbs, during what should have been routine mid-race positioning. But here's where it gets controversial. Hamlin claims the incident was purely accidental, while radio communications tell a much more heated story. I absolutely had no intention of spinning out a teammate, or frankly, anyone else out there, Hamlin explained after the dust settled. What I was doing was attempting to create some racing room so I could work my way around the 54 car, and unfortunately, we made contact. But this is the part most people miss. This wasn't just a simple racing incident between strangers. This was a clash between teammates, with championship implications hanging in the balance. The drama unfolded on lap 110, when Hamlin finally made contact with Gibbs after spending multiple laps unsuccessfully trying to overtake his Joe Gibbs Racing stablemate. The frustration had been building for several laps, with both Hamlin and Christopher Bell, another playoff contender, struggling to find clean air around Gibbs' number 54 machine. That contact in turn 1 wasn't our first dance of the day, Hamlin revealed. We'd already made contact 4 or 5 times throughout our battle, but this time it resulted in him getting turned around. The trio had been locked in an intense 3-way battle for positions 11th through 13th, when Gibbs successfully defended against Bell's advances, which opened the door for Hamlin to join the fray. Just 1 lap before the decisive contact in turn 1, tensions escalated when Hamlin aggressively pushed Gibbs wide through turns 3 and 4. I saw what happened with Christopher earlier in that sequence, Hamlin recounted. 54 managed to get clear of both myself and the 20 car, but we quickly ran him back down. The problem was, once we caught up and tried to make our move, there just wasn't any room to work with. I'm not sure what the perfect solution is in these situations, but I'm confident Joe and the leadership team will sort it out. And this is where the controversy really heats up. Should teammates prioritize team harmony over individual championship aspirations? Hamlin's radio communications during the incident painted a picture of mounting frustration that many fans found both relatable and concerning. The usually composed veteran driver didn't hold back his feelings about his teammates' racing tactics. Does Ty understand we're fighting for a championship here? What the hell? Hamlin's voice crackled over the team radio, his exasperation evident to anyone listening. A few laps later, his frustration boiled over again. This is some real teammate nonsense right here. After the contact occurred, Hamlin's disbelief was palpable. What the hell is he thinking out there? His crew chief, Chris Gale, tried to refocus on the immediate concerns. Is the right front tire holding up okay? That's my main worry right now. But Hamlin wasn't finished expressing his displeasure. Are they too intimidated to have a conversation with him? Because that's exactly how this feels. They're just afraid of confronting him. The situation becomes even more intriguing when you consider the family dynamics at play. Joe Gibbs isn't just the team owner for both drivers, he's also Ty Gibbs' grandfather. Yet, when asked about intervening in the situation, the legendary owner and coach took a hands-off approach. Those are the guys behind the wheel, making split-second decisions, Gibbs stated diplomatically. They're professionals, and they'll work through this situation on their own terms. Hamlin had successfully passed Bell to claim 12th position, but found himself unable to complete the pass on Gibbs for 11th place. In the shuffle that followed, he ultimately surrendered that 12th spot back to Bell, a loss that only amplified his frustration with the entire sequence of events. Ty Gibbs, for his part, remained remarkably tight-lipped about the incident. When NBC Sports attempted to get his perspective on what transpired, he deflected entirely, choosing instead to focus his comments on the upcoming race at Kansas Speedway. His only on-track response came through his radio after the contact. A simple but loaded, "Game on." Those two words might just be the most telling part of this entire story. Hamlin, meanwhile, dismissed any concerns about potential retaliation from his younger teammate. When pressed about whether he would have made the same aggressive move against the non-teammate in that identical situation, his response was brutally honest. "I made an error going into turn 1, plain and simple," Hamlin admitted. "And honestly, I would have made that same mistake regardless of who was in that car." This raises some uncomfortable questions that NASCAR fans and industry insiders are already debating. In an era where playoff points are precious and championship dreams hang by threads, should teammates be expected to move over for each other? Or does the "may the best driver win" mentality apply even within the same organization? Hamlin's situation highlights a fundamental tension in modern NASCAR, the balance between team loyalty and individual ambition. With both Hamlin and Bell actively competing in the Cup Series playoffs, every position matters. Every point could be the difference between advancing to the next round or watching championship hopes evaporate. The veteran driver seemed to acknowledge this complexity when he reflected on the broader implications. "I'll let the leadership team handle this however they think is best. Obviously, myself, the 19, and the 20 are all fighting to bring home a championship for our respective families. It's incredibly frustrating that we find ourselves racing each other this aggressively. But here's the question that's got everyone talking. Is this just hard racing between competitors, or did family politics and team dynamics create an unnecessarily volatile situation? What do you think? Should Hamlin have backed off knowing it was his teammate? Or was he right to race Gibbs as hard as he would anyone else? And what about Ty Gibbs' game on response? Was that a promise of future retaliation or just competitive fire? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this debate is far from over.